verse number 26. Let's chant it first. Atha chainam nitya jatam nityam vamanyase mritam tathapi tvam mahabaho naivam shochitumarhasi. Ritesh, read.
And Arjuna, if you should suppose the soul to be subject to constant birth and death, even then you should not grieve like this.
After giving all the gyan, he says, Chalo, doesn't matter. You don't understand. Body is temporary. You don't understand. Atma is permanent. You don't understand you are not body. You don't want to understand you are not, you are actually Atma. Still, you don't have to grieve. Let's take the words. Atha cha. If, however. Atha cha, if, however. Manyase, you think. Unfortunately, the Sanskrit syntax and English don't match word to word. So I'm giving it to you in a way that you can make a perfect English sentence. Atha cha, if, however, manyase, you think. Enam, this soul. Nitya jatam, takes constant birth. Nitya, you know. Va, or. Mritam, death, dies. So if, however, you think this soul is constantly taking birth and constantly dying, tathapi, even then, tvam, you, Mahabaho, who is Mahabaho? Arjun, you mighty armed Arjun. No, not. Arhasi, befitting. It is not befitting you. Shochitam, to grieve. Evam, like this. If, however, you think this soul is not permanent, like I'm telling you, it keeps dying and it keeps getting birth. Even if you think like that, even if you don't believe me that I'm telling you Atma is permanent, even if you don't believe that, even then, mighty armed one Arjun, it does not befit you to grieve like this. First and foremost, why is, there are many names being used for Bhagwan Krishna and many names being used for Arjun in the whole Bhagavad Gita. In this context, why is Bhagwan Krishna calling Arjun Mahabaho?
Might.
Why?
He wants to remind him.
He wants
to remind him that he is Kshatriya.
He is a Kshatriya and you are very strong, you are very courageous, you have fought so many wars, you have killed so many Asurs, you have done so much courageous work, and this is the time when you should gather your strength and remember that you are very strong and courageous. So that is the reason why Mahabaho. Can you imagine now if you were Bhagwan Krishna and there was one Arjun who was trembling and shivering like a baby, and then you gave all this gyan, Are, Atma, this, that, vagere, vagere, and even after that Arjun is not understanding anything, what would be your mental state? Frustrated, Kantala, क्या इतना बोला फिर भी सुनता नहीं, can't understand. What did you do for so many years in Gurukul? You would have given some ulta gyan, But Bhagwan Krishna, being Bhagwan Krishna, and preaching Sanatan Dharma, which is the most tolerant and the most inclusive school of thought that you can ever have. He is so patient and he is so understanding that everyone cannot understand this philosophy so quickly. What does Sanatan Dharma actually want to do? It wants to offer knowledge. It is an offering. It is an oblation. It's an offering. And whether people follow it or not is no concern of theirs. It is not interested in converting people. It's not interested in forcing Sanatan Dharma down anyone's throat. This is the truth. This is what the rishis have given us. This is what I'm offering. If you want it, take it. If you don't want it, leave it. Every person has a different level of understanding. Everyone has a different temperament. Everyone has different pravrittis, tendencies. And there should be a school of thought or a philosophy to match every level of person. Everyone may not be ready for Vedant. So that is why at the end, now we have just come 25 verses of chapter 2. Now imagine right at the end of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 63. Read loudly, everyone. Thus has this wisdom, the most profound secret of all secret knowledge, been imparted to you by me. Deeply pondering over it, now do as you please. Now do as you please.
That is confusing.
I'll maintain my silence. So, athacha, if however, I have explained so many things to you, and if you still want to believe in some other philosophy, if you still want to believe in some other school of thought, still you don't have to feel sad about fighting this war. Okay? He is telling Arjun, if you don't want to believe in this eternal nature of the soul, this universal nature of the soul, and you want to believe that this body is only matter, and when it was born, when it will die, that it has no energy, no consciousness of its own, it has no life after death, there is no karma, there is no whatever consciousness, nothing, then also don't feel sad. Then also there is no need to grieve. Why? Why? Why did he say that? Before you were born, there was no Arjun. After you die, there will be no Arjun. And if before you were born, there was no Arjun, then before your Guru was born also, there was no Guru. After he dies also, there will be no Guru, no relative before, no relative after. Karo, jo marji hai karo. At the time of death, you go, finish, khatam, book over. So, if you want to believe it like that, believe it. Therefore, you don't have to do what. And this gives you license to do whatever you want. Right? Without any consequences. There is no continuity before life. There is no continuity after death. Therefore, na shochitam, don't grieve. Okay? You can do whatever you want. Now, what is the only thing that can relieve grief? Wealth?
No.
Power?
No.
Entertainment? Shepherd's pie?
Maybe.
The only thing that can relieve grief is knowledge of who am I. That's the only thing that can relieve your grief. Who am I? Once you understand that, what is there to worry about? What is there to think about? What is there to feel sorry about? So, what is your purpose in life? To know who you are. Just imagine, we are living our entire life without knowing the most basic thing, who am I? Verse 27.
You said that live as you please. Then there's no karma and all. That's what he's
According to Charvak, not according to what I am saying. According to Charvak, करो जो करना है करो फिर मरो.